Hello students, welcome you all to the social science class. In today's session we will start with a new lesson in geography. It is lesson number 6, Major Relief Features of the Earth. Okay children, are you ready to know about the major relief features of the Earth? Yes, we shall start the lesson. Major relief features of the Earth. What is meant by the term relief features? In geography, the term relief means the highest and lowest elevation points in a particular region. Elevation means the height, that is the உயரமான பகுதி இல்லைனா ஒரு மேடான பகுதி. Okay, so in geography the term relief means the highest and lowest elevation points in a particular region. It may be either a mountain, a valley or a hill. And now let us see in more detail about these relief features. Learning objectives. In this lesson we will study about the formation of landforms, which includes the internal process and external process. And next we will study about the major landforms. The three major landforms are mountains, plateaus and plains. And finally we will study about the people and their connection with the landforms. In the previous lessons in geography, you would have studied that Earth is a planet with huge continents and oceans. And we have also studied that the surface of the Earth is not smooth and it has uneven surface. That is, in some region, you would have seen the elevated features such as mountains, plateaus, and in some places you would have seen the plain surfaces. So in this lesson we shall study about the various forms the land surface takes and how they are formed. Now look at these pictures, children. In the first picture you can see the mountain, and in second one you can see the hills, and in the third picture you can see the plains, and in fourth you can see the desert, and in the fifth picture you can see the plateaus. So from these pictures we can clearly say that the earth's surface has different appearances. And now in this lesson we shall study about why and how these landforms are created on the earth's surface. Formation of landforms. First we have to understand what is meant by landforms. Landforms are natural physical features of the earth's surface. That is, mountains, hills, plateaus and plains are the four major types of landforms. In the previous lessons in geography, we studied about rotation and the revolution of the earth. That is, the earth rotates on its axis and also at the same time it revolves around the sun. But we cannot feel this movement. In addition to this, there is also a continuous movement under the earth's surface also. And now let us see about the movement under the earth's surface. Tectonic plates. The earth's surface is made up of several huge plates called the tectonic plates. So a tectonic plate is a huge irregularly shaped slab of solid rock. That is, it does not have a regular shape and it is a very huge slab of solid rock. These tectonic plates are found below the earth's surface. The thickness of these tectonic plates are about 1000 meters and they cover millions of square kilometers of the surface. These tectonic plates have divisions, and these division lines are not visible on the surface of the earth. So tectonic plates are huge irregular slabs of solid rocks, and they are about 100 to 1000 meters thick. And the division lines of the tectonic plates are not visible to the surface. These plates, which is below the earth's surface, keeps moving, rubbing, pushing and pulling against each other. Even this movement is very slow and cannot be felt by us. Only sometimes we can feel the movements during the earthquake. That is also only for few seconds. So children, what is the main cause of the earthquake? It is due to the movement of the tectonic plates below the earth's surface. So the movement of the tectonic plate below the earth's surface cannot be felt on the surface of the earth by us, but we can feel the movement when we feel an earthquake for a few seconds. The movement of the tectonic plates causes changes in the shape of the land. There are continuous activities happening inside and outside the earth, and this is called as the internal process. The movement of the tectonic plates causes the raising or sinking of the earth's surface. Sinking means to go down below the surface of the earth. So, the movement of the tectonic plates causes the raising or sinking of the earth's surface, and this is how the hills, mountains, valleys, etc. are formed by the movement of the tectonic plates. External process. The other activities that occur over the earth's surface are called external process. The external process causes erosion and deposition, and these processes are very slow and it happens over many years. Erosion. Erosion is the process of degradation and removal of the earth's surface. Degradation means decline in the quality of the soil. So therefore, erosion is the process of degradation and removal of the earth's surface. We know that the sands are fine particles of stones, and the stones are smaller pieces of rocks. And now let us see how these sands are formed. The sands are formed by repeated heating and cooling of rocks, and stones develop cracks in them. Rain, lightning, and thunder, along with winds and storms, cause the rocks to break further into finer particles. Subsequently, rainwater, melting snow, or fast blowing winds move sand from one place to another. So the sands are transported from one places to another by means of rainwater, melting snow, or fast blowing winds, and this process is called as erosion. This process happens over a period of many years. Deposition. Deposition is also called the process of aggradation. In this process, eroded material like debris means fragment of rocks, that is the small pieces of rocks, and finer particles of sand are moved by wind, waves and rain, and they get accumulated means they get collected or gathered at one place. This collection of the eroded material, that is the moved away material, is called as deposition. Can you understand, children? So the material such as small pieces of rocks and sand are moved away by wind, water and waves, and these material gets deposited or accumulated or collected at one place, and this process is called as deposition. Major landforms. We have already studied that the landforms are the natural features of the earth's surface, and now let us see about the major landforms. The landforms are broadly classified as mountains, plateaus, and plains. Let us see how the various landforms are formed. Mountains. Mountains are the natural elevations of the earth's surface. Elevation means it is raised above its surroundings. They are generally characterized by small summit and the broad base. The mountains generally have a broad base and a small and narrow summit. Summit means it is the topmost point. So the topmost point of the mountain is narrow and small. There could be either isolated mountains or a series of them. That is, the mountains can either be a standalone mountain or they can be a series of them. Series of them means they can be a continuous chain of mountains. The continuous chain of mountains, that is, the series of mountains, are also known as mountain ranges. The Andes in South America and the Himalayas in India are the famous mountain ranges which are not only extended but also very high. So the Himalayan mountains are said to be the continuous range of mountains and they are not only extended but also very high. And now we will see what is the difference between the mountains and hills. Smaller mountains with height less than 2000 feet above mean sea level are called as hills. Most mountains have low temperatures and are covered with snow. So the highest mountains which have a thick layer of snow turns into ice. So the highest mountains have a thick layer of snow which turns into ice. Likewise, among these highest mountains we find frozen rivers which are called glaciers. So the frozen rivers are called as glaciers. That is, the rivers in the highest mountain itself turns into ice. So therefore, these frozen rivers are called as glaciers. These glaciers are frozen mass of ice. And the thickness of these glaciers are about 100 feet. And it is about 100 of meters wide. So most of the rivers which we see originate from these glaciers. Next we will study about the types of mountains. Mountains are classified as fold mountains, block mountains and volcanic mountains. And now let us study about them one by one. Fold mountains. These mountains look like a series of folds on the ground. That is, fold mountains are mountains that are formed mainly by the effects of folding on the layers within the upper part of the earth's crust. This folding happens due to the compression of the plates, that is the tectonic plates, during their movement. So I'll repeat, children. Fold mountains looks like a series of folds on the ground. So the fold mountains are mountains that form mainly by the effects of folding on layers within the upper part of the earth crust. And this folding happens due to the compression of the plates during their movement. And now we will see how these fold mountains look like. Spread a sheet of cloth on the table and then push the sheet from one side. It will rise into folds, அதாவது மடிப்பு மடிப்பா உங்களுக்கு தெரியும், at many places. And this is how the fold mountains look like. In this picture I have demonstrated you how the fold mountains look like. The Himalayas in India, the Alps in Europe and the Andes in South America are examples of such fold mountains. Block mountains. These are formed when the plates drift. Drift means a continuous slow movement from one place to another. So these block mountains are formed when the plates move outwards and cause vertical movement in piece of land. The pieces of land may either move downwards or raise upwards. The uplifted block, that is, the raised blocks, are called as the horst, and the lowered blocks are called as the graben. In this picture, you can see some pieces of land are lowered and they are called as the graben, and the raised pieces of lands are called as the horst. The Vosges mountain in Europe is an example of block mountains. Volcanic mountains. These mountains, which are formed as a result of volcanic eruptions, are called as volcanic mountains. A volcano is an opening in the earth's crust through which lava, volcanic ash, and gases escape. And this process is called as the volcanic eruption. So, the mountains which are formed as a result of these volcanic eruptions are called as the volcanic mountains. Such mountains are found in many parts of the world, especially towards Japan, New Zealand, North Europe, and South America. And now, let us see about the importance of mountains. Mountains play an important role in human life. Mountains affect the movement of wind and flow of water. As the mountains are very high, the mountains block the movement of winds from one side to the other. For the example, due to the presence of the Himalayas, cold winds from Tibet and China cannot come towards India. So, we know that Himalayas form the northern boundary of our country. So, the cold winds from the Tibet and China is blocked by these Himalayas, and it is prevented from entering into our country. Similarly, they force rain clouds to shed the moisture into India. Second point, many rivers flow out of the glaciers in the Himalayas and other regions of the country. These rivers provide water for agriculture and other uses to people living in the plains. And we have studied that the frozen rivers are called as the glaciers. So, on the highest mountain, we can see the frozen rivers, and many rivers which we see in the plain surface originate from these glaciers. So, the rivers which originate from these glaciers serves people for both agricultural and domestic use. Mountains have rich deposits of minerals, and humans can extract these minerals for their use. Many people visit the mountains for adventure and tourism. So, these mountains attract the tourists for their natural scenic beauty, and some people move to mountains for adventure and sports like rock climbing, parasailing, skiing, etc. Mountains have a variety of flora and fauna, which is quite different from the plains. So, in mountains, you can see a variety of flora. Flora means plant life, and fauna means animals. So, the cooler temperature, the type of soil, and the presence of water streams allow different varieties of animals and plants to survive in the mountains. Plateaus. Plateaus are a type of raised grounds which are peculiarly flat at the top. So, these plateaus are also raised from the ground surface, but they are flat at the top. The plateaus are not as high as the mountains. They are only few meters to hundreds of meters height. The plateaus are generally formed by cooling of volcanic material. What is the volcanic material? It is lava. So, the plateaus are generally formed by the cooling of lava which settles down and solidifies after an volcanic eruption. The Deccan Plateau of India, the Tibetan Plateau are the two famous plateaus of Asia. So in Asia continent, the two important plateaus are Deccan Plateau in India and the Tibetan Plateau. Many Eastern African countries like Kenya, Tanzania and Uganda also have plateaus. The Tibetan Plateau is the highest plateau in the world and it is also called the roof of the world. Importance of plateaus. Plateaus are rich in mineral deposits. For example, Chota Nagpur Plateau in India is rich in coal and iron. There are many waterfalls where river water falls over the edge of the plateaus onto the area below. As the plateaus are flat at the top, the rivers on the top of the plateau, when they move towards the edge, falls down as waterfalls. At several places, these falls are used to generate electricity. The plateaus which have black soil are good for growing crops like cotton and other cash crops. Examples of cash crops are tea, coffee, cocoa, etc. And extensive farming is done on such soil. Extensive farming means it is a system of crop cultivation using small amounts of labor and capital in relation to area of land being farmed. Plains. Plains are the most common landforms. The plains are flat or nearly flat surfaces which could be formed by the external process of erosion and deposition. We have already studied about what is meant by erosion and deposition. The plains are normally formed by a fine soil called the alluvium or alluvial soil. So these plains are formed by the alluvial soil. Alluvial soil is very fertile and it is suitable for cultivation of crops. The alluvial soils are brought down from the mountains by the rivers. We have already studied that the rivers originate from the mountains. While the rivers flow down the mountains, they bring along with them the sediments of the alluvial soil. And when they reach the plain, they keep depositing these alluvial soils in the plain before they reach the ocean. Some of the famous plains in the world are the Gangetic Plains in India and Huanghe in China. And now let us see in detail about how the plains are formed and how the alluvial soils are deposited in the plains. Follow the picture as we study about the formation of plains. Rivers coming down from higher regions, that is from mountains, have a narrow path and higher flow of water and moves very fast as the slope is sharp and surface is rocky. That is, we have already studied that the rivers originate from the mountains. As the rivers flow down the mountains, their movement is very fast. The speed and force of the water makes them carry along large amounts of eroded material from the mountain surface and surroundings. That is, as the movement of the water is very fast, they bring along with them the soils and mineral deposits as they flow. Once the river reaches the plains, it gets wider. So when the river reaches the plain surface, it gets wider and therefore the speed of the river is also reduced. The river starts depositing the soil and particles it brought from the higher reaches, which are left behind as alluvial deposits in the plains. So, as the speed of the river is reduced in the plains, it starts depositing the soils and mineral particles which it brought along with it, and it left behind it is left behind as alluvial deposits in the plains. Gradually, the river reaches the place where it meets the sea or the ocean. By the time it reaches this area, it gets so slow that the eroded material is left behind as sediments and silt. So, the river finally reaches the ocean or the sea, and before reaching the ocean or the sea, the speed of the river gets very slow, so it totally deposits the sediments and silt. Such areas where the river sediments divide the water channel into many small distributaries is known as delta. So, before the river reaches the ocean, it splits itself into smaller streams or smaller rivers, and these are known as the distributaries. Such areas where the river sediments divide the water channel into small distributaries is known as delta. So, therefore, this delta region is very fertile due to the sediments deposited by the rivers. Importance of plains. Plains have fertile soil. So, the soil is very fertile due to the sediments deposited by the rivers, and they are also rich in minerals. The fertility of the soil is very good, so therefore it facilitates growing of crops. The flat surface of the plains facilitate easy movement and transportation of people and goods, as well as construction and setting up of industries. It is easier to construct roads, railways, bridges, airports, and industrial centers on the plains than on any other landforms. So, in plains, it is easy to construct roads, railways, airports, etc., than on mountains, plateaus. The river basins and plains are thus the most populous areas all around the world. So, these plains and the river basins are the mostly populated areas in the world. People and the landforms. People have always chosen to live at places where they get food, water, and shelter. That is, people like to live in places where their basic necessities are satisfied. They also live in high mountains, in jungles, and in deserts. Life in those regions are very difficult. So, therefore, people migrate, that is, they move to places where they can live a comparatively easier life. This leads to the migration of people to towns and cities in search of jobs and livelihood. Towns and cities are therefore getting highly congested, that is, populated. We all know that the surface of the earth is unique. That is, no other planet in the universe is suitable for living. We should not do anything which harms the earth. That is, pollution of air and water, indiscriminate use of polythene, wastage of water are matters of concern for all of us. We should be careful about these so that earth continues to be a livable place for all and for many centuries in the future. So, therefore, we should plant more trees, we should avoid wastage of water, and also take certain measures to control water and air pollution. The government of India has taken many steps to save the environment and to bring about cleanliness. We should avoid the use of plastic, and the initiative such as Swachh Bharat have been undertaken to ensure a better and healthy environment. So, let us join our hands and save our earth. Thank you. So, we have completed the lesson, children. Go through the lessons and also do your homeworks and go through the question and answers given in the PDF.